See, for instance, we try not to be part of men. Also, we always try to make sure that there's a balanced representation, which in itself already says something about the policies of the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also something that I personally, in my work as a deputy ambassador here, find very important, to look at women's role in Indonesian society. I also, in my personal life, when I was studying, the position of women in society, and the fact that in many places around the world, women's position is not yet fully acknowledged. So therefore I feel very strongly about trying to speak up for women as well. Women local food heroes. Food is very important, I think, for all of us.
I agree.
Food security is still an issue here in Indonesia. The Netherlands is a very important agricultural country, a country also that would like to share its experience with other countries in the world. So agriculture of our work here in Indonesia as well, and several representatives here in some way or the other have been associated with that work. Increasingly, when we're talking about food security, we're also looking at climate smart agriculture. How can we make sure that the footprint of food production, or the environmental footprint of food production becomes less? For me, part of the answer is a bigger emphasis on plant-based food. That is important in my personal life. I've been a vegetarian since 1987.
Whoa. We can give an applause for that. Yes.
So in different ways, I think I very strongly feel about the theme that we're discussing this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibu Ardi. So for all of you that's watching, Ibu Ardi Stolos Braken is the Deputy Head of Mission for the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Indonesia. Now, because you mentioned that you've been a vegetarian more than 2 decades, I think, right? So I'll go to the lady next to me that is trying to be a rebel in the traditional way of actually eating in Indonesia. It's not a traditional way of eating, or is it? So Miss Helga, can you maybe tell us?
Yeah, so my name is Helga. I'm one of the co-founders of Burgerins and Green Rebel. So Burgerins is a healthy plant-based eatery chain promoting delicious plant-based foods that is accessible to urban consumers. Whereas Green Rebel is actually an Indonesian-born food tech startup that makes plant-based beef and chicken from mushroom and soy with some Indonesian flavors such as rendang and satay. My personal why, I actually became a plant-based eater when I was 15 years old. So that's about 15 years ago. That was for my personal health. So I had experienced some autoimmune condition.
Okay.
And women in agriculture, especially from a window. My personal why, I love farmers.
You love farmers. Okay,
Because
that's a good personal.
They say, Pak Simon Groot and Pak Piet Mezeru, a window here to see.
Right.
So it was sometimes it's like 7 Celsius, 7 degrees Celsius. But I learned from my mom that there is a very extreme poverty in that area. So she tried to help them to grow their own food, and apparently, first they rejected because they've never tried any of those vegetables or so it was something completely strange. And their diet at that time was basically rice and salt.
I see.
Or insects.
Oh wow!
Their source of protein at that time was insects. So I learned actually watching how my mom teach them gradually, and my mom always said, the only way you can sustain a family is give them a good nutrition. You cannot give them good education if their brain is not having
nourished.
Enough if their body is not enough nourished with the nature and everything. Until one day, I was invited to give pro bono legal advice for contracts for the farmers.
I see. Oh, that's why. Okay, now I understand the bridge.
And because I'm a foodie, I love to cook. I love to eat. You can see. So when I food biodiversity of Indonesia that I've never seen before.
Right.
different flavors, different spices. I just, overwhelmed. I was like, how come I never know about this?
Yeah.
And somehow it's a forgotten food biodiversity. So that's why I pledge that that's where Javara started, is because to bring back forgotten food biodiversity of Indonesia, not because we are being romantic, but because it makes sense in terms of climate change, in terms of nutrition, in terms of food identity, cultural identity, and in terms of addressing to climate change. So it addresses so many aspects in life.
Thank you so much, Mbak Heli. It makes sense on business-wise as well,
yes,
right?
business-wise.
Yeah,
the growing trend of global diets.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will talk about it a bit afterwards. So if you're excited about global diet and how actually being sustainable means good business as well, we want to hear from Ibu Yuflinda from Superindo. Maybe your personal why. How is it working in Superindo, pushing for sustainability trend, and what is it that makes you excited?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Gita. Session together with this beautiful, extraordinary woman, and maybe we can call inspiring moms, because we are heading, Hari Ibu.
Hari Ibu, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I always believe that nature always provides us freelance. The crucial role and is important actor in creating the we can call sustainable consumption and also production. So it is important for us to raise this actually awareness, and even it's critical to give access to women healthy and sustainable food and options. So and I believe Superindo, as a supermarket where I share my passions, have a significant and I think important role also to educate and also to create this awareness, and with the strategic position, actually supermarket, or we can say here Superindo, can introduce or encourage behavioral change of consumer, especially women who are actually our #1 shopper. So for sustainability initiative.
That's great. I'm so excited. In Superindo, you can find all these different sustainability brands right now becoming more accessible. And that is not going to happen unless the partnership program of Rainforest Alliance. Maybe your personal why from the development sector.
Thank you. I feel so humbled, and just few minutes, this talk show, I felt like, wow, so inspiring. Well, thank you very much for having me, especially. And if we talk about women as food heroes, at the beginning of my humanitarian development career, I started working with vulnerable women and girls that had limited access and opportunities to actually make their lives better. But after working for over the years with them, I realized that they are extremely powerful, extremely capable agents of changes. This is my life goal. I'm going to support women and girls. And at Rainforest Alliance, the majority of our work is actually with smallholder farmers.
Yeah.
They are the center of sustainability as we know it. And hearing the stories about farmers, that is exactly true. That is powerful message over there. They more or less contribute, they more or less make equal contributions to agriculture. Yet we see that it seems like women is less visible. And we've also learned that as of now, they have not earned equal benefits. And it is also our responsibility to actually see this, the challenges and then the way forward, but also try to create that space where women farmers could actually thrive and ultimately benefit from agriculture. So that's
the personal why.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm a follower of Mbak Nina's IG. And in her story, those appears.
Really?
Those farmers are your daughter, exactly. So thank you so much for telling us things that we cannot Google. So we're about to sort of maybe take a little bit of a shift and talk about how you actually are setting the standard for having women in the leadership position, and how you actually have this power to actually translate that throughout your organization, throughout your value chain. So let me maybe talk a bit about that. And again, I'm going to let Ibu Ardi open. And I've been researching you a little bit as well for the past maybe 2-3 weeks. And I found many, many interesting articles about you. One of which is basically talking about how you are in this position. You've experienced a lot of time when you are the only women in the room. And you are there to make sure that the voice of women is still being heard, regardless that you're the only one there. So maybe on that, can you maybe share a little bit of an experience, how you go through it, and maybe things that we can learn as fellow women as well? Normally, yeah, sometimes the only one in the room.
Thank you very much. Luckily, I can say that it has become less and less more often that we are the only women, or that women are the only women in a room. So I guess there's definitely progress to be reported. But very often women are not represented in an equal way the way men are represented in panels. That's why I earlier on also spoke about manels, how we as men's perspectives are being shared. In a previous position in another country, it was more often than what I've experienced here that I was one of the few women in the room. And like I said, within the Dutch foreign policy, we try to speak up for women. We consider gender equality a very important issue, and therefore professionally it's part and parcel of my DNA to speak about this. I'm very, I think it's very important this afternoon to single out the role of women in agriculture, as many is so crucial, but nevertheless their voice is not yet heard as much as we think we would all benefit from if their voice becomes louder. I think we are doing ourselves a disservice if the voice of we're 50% of the world population, and obviously what we have to say, our perspectives should count equally.
That's great. In terms of actually, we're actually missing out on opportunities if female voices are not being heard. Now, from the government perspective, we'll move to maybe corporate leadership, because this is something that is also still an issue in Indonesia in terms of breaking the glass ceiling and making sure that women get the powerful position that they can in terms of corporate leadership. Maybe you, Flinda, you want to share a little bit in terms of how, in your own organization, how did you manage to be in the leadership position, and whether that types of value actually translate throughout the organization?
Yeah, okay. So I think the food industry continuously to be a booming sector in the world.
Right.
So, and it still keep stride in increasing the representation of women around the world. So, and I think I myself believe that diversity and also inclusion is strongly connected to the performance of the company. So it is important to have a balance between men and women, and instead, or in Superindo, like a supermarket, we love to hire more women, because I think it's only beneficial the company, give more benefit to the company, and from this woman, from our associate who are women, we can get more insights.
I see.
Yeah,
so
direct
in business sense,
exactly.
it also makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
I see.
So because actually we are also shoppers, and we can give exact a suggestion to the company what they have to do.
So it's like customers' testimonies, but from your employees.
Yeah.
I
Correct.
see.
Yes. So we do hire more women in our company. So, and we can have like a direct insights from them, and we take this insight actually to develop some programs to improve the business. And for example, when from the insight we have collected, we understand that currently the need of eco-labels is getting more important to our customer, especially to our women customer.
I
because
see.
yeah, because a woman currently they want to feel good when they do they consume and for their daily consumption. I mean, so they not only taste good but also feel good because what
That's
they
true.
purchase not only make them happy but also impact positively for the environment and also social.
Yeah.
So to address this need, actually, if I may share. Recently, Superindo just launched its own brand, Ecolabel palm cooking oil,
Yes.
and actually that's the only
I'm a consumer.
Ecolabel on-brand Ecolabel, or I can say RSPOR certified,
Yeah.
in currently available in retail in Indonesia. So actually we have many others, like we have our coffee FSC certified, and all of those product actually provided to facilitate or to fulfill the needs of a more conscious living consumer.
Thank you so much, Ibu Yuflinda. I'm happy to report that I have bought all three. So, so maybe from one corporate leader to another, Ibu Siska, maybe you can share a little bit how you've experienced more like growing up in Ewindo, right? And becoming a leader in Ewindo as well, and whether Ewindo actually give the same chance to female as well within the organization value chain.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Gita. I'm very proud to share value chain. To begin with, I think we are all realize that horticulture is tough sector.
Yeah.
And usually ruled by men, especially for Ewindo that serve farmers for more than 3 decades. The main important thing in our seed production is pollination. And most of the pollinator actually are women. It is about 70,000, I think, 70,000.
Yeah.
And spread across in East Java and Banten. Another aspect, important aspect of our business actually is R&D. And breeders are part, we call it extremely vital from R&D because the high quality seeds come from breeders. It comes from their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the population of our women breeders now, it's about 35%.
35%. Do you have any
It's
target?
increasing.
You're increasing the target?
Yeah, we hope 50% actually.
50%,
Yeah.
all right.
Because I talked to some of deans in universities.
Yeah.
They said that the population of women in university for breeding now dominated by women, 70%.
70% are
Yes,
female,
correct.
okay.
But I don't know why only 35% in our company right now.
Okay, so there's a missing link between
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
and actually
Yeah.
getting jobs in
Yeah.
terms of becoming
Yeah.
part of the agriculture value chain. Well, we wish you success with the 50% and hopefully we'll get to hear again from you later on in terms of how is it achieving the target.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe because Ibu Siska just mentioned the fact that that's very new for me as well, pollinator. Female are better as a pollinator. Maybe, Manina, you want to share experience from RA perspective as well, how women have taken place, leadership place within the value chain that RA is trying to create.
First of all, I'd like to add that point, and we also see this in the field, like women, you know, it's based on experience, experience, and also by talking and working with women. And we totally agree that women are very considerate towards nature, and very connected towards land cultivation. It's like they're really together to actually shift some of those burdens, so the women could actually have time for personal development, and in terms of the pollinators, maybe compete even more. But we are also living in a world where reality is so far away, like the reality of equality. So we also have that kind of responsibility to create that safe try and fail environment for women, and make opportunity is not just once in a lifetime opportunity for women, but multiple opportunities, and increase could result in long-lasting impact and more sustainable future. Thanks.
Yeah,
Was
thank
that too
you.
long?
No, I mean,
I got so excited.
no, I remember one of the program that RA commissioned in one of our district in Sintang. They talk about gender balance, and the main participants actually are the husband, because meant to actually take leadership position. So now we have two entrepreneurs that are creating your own value chain as entrepreneurs in Indonesia. I wonder a little bit, yeah. Can you maybe share key milestones that you've experienced as entrepreneurs? And I want to be cheeky a little bit and says, would it be the same if you're not female? If you're a man entrepreneur, would it be the same or would it be different? So maybe Mbak Heli can start.
Yeah. I think it will be different because when I started with Food Biodiversity, as a food biodiversity company, at that time there is no such reverence, not only in Indonesia but around the world. There is no such company that are working on bringing back forgotten food. It just simply will not work. It's not feasible. But I think women tends to be more intuitive. So that's when my mom came in, when I was like, a little bit dilemma between, looking into the business planning and looking into the passion. Yeah. And I think what makes different women and non-women is basically women is always tend to nurture things.
Nurture. Yeah.
So nurturing, I think, is by it's something like it's like embedded, and because of intuition, we don't see challenges as challenges, but how we nurture the situation so that we can overcome challenges.
Wow.
But I think I really want gender. Because Indonesia is too complex.
Right.
You cannot generate Indonesia in one, in one line because we also have Minang, which
Different
matriarchal.
culture, yes.
It's woman rules,
Betul.
basically.
Yes.
And you also have Javanese culture, which the women tend to be on the backside, but they decide everything.
That's true. Decision making from the backside.
That's what I saw from my mom and dad. My dad is up front, getting all the credits, but everything in terms of decision making mostly is done by mama.
That's very true.
So, and I've seen a lot of meetings in Javanese. I remember there was this meeting with buyer from US, and do not judge. Let's start making the discussion and ask them to make decision.
Yes.
The minute we ask them to make decision, everybody will say, can we come back tomorrow? We will consult with our wife. So I think
it's true.
And for us, actually being realistic, we work based on merits and complementing role.
Okay.
For example, when we look into the coconut sugar production, the man will be the one who's climbing the tree, collecting the nectar, and the woman will be the one who's cooking. And in Javanese, we have a belief, when you do sugar production, the husband and the wife should not be fighting. The minute you fight, you will be failing in producing the sugar. So there is a wisdom. It's not a matter of whether it's gender or things like that. There is role. And by nature, they already define the role by themselves. Anything that needs something delicate, nurturing, sophistication will be done by the woman.
Right.
Anything that needs volumes, productivity, strength, more dangerous
Muscle
parts,
power, yes.
more dangerous part, climbing the tree, will be done by men. So, and they will not exchange.
Yes.
For them, they will not do it.
Yeah.
So, but for me, actually, personally, our biggest concern is not about gender.
What is it about then?
Youth.
Youth?
Because Indonesia are losing 500,000 farmers every year.
That's true.
So it doesn't matter whether it's man or woman.
Anybody please be a farmer.
Please be a farmer. That's one. And then second, there is limited access to finance.
Okay.
It doesn't matter you're man, you're woman, you still, the farmers are still
yeah?
limited in terms of access to finance.
Okay, that's great in terms of actually highlighting another perspective as well. Yes, gender is important, but also there's cultural background to it. And you highlight youth, and then you also highlight finance, and I highlight market. Those things must be also a challenge for Burgreens and Green Rebel. Maybe you can share a little bit of your journey in terms of milestones and whether it'll be different if you're not a female entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I think talking about milestones, Burgreens has been around for 8 years now.
It's been a while, yeah?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We actually started plant-based eatery long before it was had to educate the market.
Yeah.
Even though, uniquely, Indonesian ancestral diet is actually very plant-centric.
So
Yes.
it's not something new, guys.
It's not something new.
It's based on tradition.
Yeah, actually ancestral diet is very plant-centric. 90% of calories come from plants. We used to eat a lot of veggies, a wide variety of whole grains and tubers and plant proteins. Tempe, bogor, and so many even forgotten plant protein that is not part of daily consumption nowadays. And so what we tried to do was modernize the plant-based protein in the form that was familiar for people. And I think after 3 years, we kind of got the product market fit.
I see.
Yeah, so in the first 3 years when I started, I just returned from the Netherlands.
The early days,
Yeah, it was so grassy and greeny and like not enough flavors. And we started developing more local flavors, such as vegan rendang, sate taichan, and everything. So I think the first 3 years we got the product market right, market fit right, and then now Burgerins has grown to 15 outlets, which means Abek, mostly, Bandung, and soon Bali in March. And during pandemic, we actually launched 2 innovations. One is Max's Pizza, which is a vegan New York style pizza, cashew and organic rice, local. And the other one is Green Rebel. It's the food tech startup that makes whole cut plant-based meat. And right now, our products are available in IKEA, Starbucks, Abuba Steak, and all Burgerins stores, of course, nationwide, and soon exporting to Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines.
Is it going to be different if you are not Helga?
So I have a bit of a different perspective towards gender, I guess gender role. So in my company, actually, my husband is the one who does the innovation, everything that is like related to culinary arts, innovation, everything with that needs delicate touch. Whereas I'm leading the business side.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a switch gender roles. And so, but I guess it works. It's complementary. And what we try to do within the organization is we have a gender balance policy since the start. So our companies needs to be 50% run by women in all levels, from investor board, senior management, middle management, and the supervisors.
At least 50%.
At least 50%. And nowadays, actually, it's very different to the corporate. It's the complete opposite. For us, 70% of our leaders are now women.
It's the other way around,
70%. 70% in senior management, 70% in middle management, and 70% in supervisor level are all women. So for us, the challenge is to hire more men.
Finding men.
Finding men that are capable and have the passion. Have the passion for this kind of, for sustainability.
Oh, is that related maybe with the youth issue as well? Probably, like not, women are just more
to fellow social enterprises that are in the sustainability area. Most of them are women. Yeah, so actually, the reason why, I think the youth, so our organization is very young. The average manager age is 30 to 35 years old. And in those age group, most of the capable people, professionals that are interested in sustainability are women.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
that's
it's
encouraging, but I mean, men, we also need you in the sustainability world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what was challenging for me was to raise funds.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about that.
So in the early days, anyway. In the early days, it took me 2 years to fundraise my SIT funding for Green Rebel. And the reason is not necessarily because there is a bias, but it's just in the investment world, VCs are more, they're more used to looking at male founders and the way they present themselves.
So venture capital world, in the early days, it's harder for women, yeah?
Yeah, and the reason isn't because there is a bias, it's just they're used to different ways of presenting.
I see.
So this is what I found. Male founders are very confident in their dreams, in the things that they think they will achieve.
Okay.
Female founders are very confident in the traction that they have built.
Okay.
So we can only sell the things that we know for sure we can achieve.
You don't want to overpromise,
Exactly. Whereas male founders are super good in selling dreams. And after 1 year of finding it so difficult to raise fund at the valuation that I wanted. So raising fund is easy, but at the valuation that I wanted, which I think fair for the company. And then I spoke to my male founder friends. Hey, tell me, how do you raise funds? Like, how come you can raise 1 million at such a high valuation, even without having a product? And I have a product with, like 3 years of R&D. And basically they told me, don't be too realistic. You need to sell the dreams. You need to be confident that you'll hit those targets, and you need to. Yeah, they told me some tactics to speak to the investors, and I gave it a try. In 3 months, I tried to do the way they did it. We were oversubscribed.
Whoa!
Yeah, so
interesting.
I think it's we just need to be aware that in some industry, male founders are more represented, and we need to learn their way to get things done. And of course, when we adapt it, it has to be authentic to our way. But there are many things that I learned from my male peers, and it works. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that perspective. I mean, it's okay to share lessons and learn as well. But as you mentioned, although if we sort of steal some tactics, then it still needs to be authentic, regardless. But it's okay learning from each other, right? I mean, that's interesting to the point where sort of selling dreams versus selling what's already there and what is sort of gaining traction, and for your case, the R&D part. Now, maybe to move to the second round, where we are going to talk a little bit about sort of dream versus reality, so to speak. Maybe I would like to now begin with Maheli and sort of dig a little deeper, the different gender roles that different culture brings to the table, and maybe a little bit what Helga also mentioned, the lessons learned and the shared lessons among each other. How do you communicate that? And can you tell us a little bit more? Where is it right now? What is your hope and sort of dream for Indonesia in the future? And also, where is women positioned in the dream of not having anything forgotten anymore?
I think what's forgotten is not about the food biodiversity. I think our crisis is on our cultural identity.
Cultural identity.
I think that's the basic of all.
I see.
And so it will relate to the food, it will relate to the clothing, it will relate to the housing. It touches very many aspects of life. So that's why actually one of our cultural identity is being a farmer. Actually, in the old days, it's not a profession. It's a way of life.
Way of life.
So you can be a doctor and you're a farmer. Like my mom, she's a lawyer and she's a farmer. So it's just a way of life. But and then it becomes professionalized. Because of the industry. And then it becomes, like, okay, either you are a doctor of fix. So and I think the best way right now we do that is through entrepreneurship. Okay. So that's why in 2017 we decided to establish Sekolah Seniman Pangan, School of Food Artisan Entrepreneurship, and dedicated mostly for farmers, foragers, and women.
Nice.
Why indigenous community? Because they are actually the one who holds the wealth, the memory of our wealth.
That's true. And
why youth? Because they are our future. And why women? Woman is the one who's connecting through the generation. Do you know how many wisdom are passed on through tables, eating tables? How many wisdom passed on when they're cooking to their kids? So that's why we see these three pillars becoming very important to bring back our heritage, not only in terms of food biodiversity, but the whole food culture. Javara is not selling products. We are selling food culture of Indonesia.
Javara is not selling product, it's selling food culture of Indonesia. And the three pillars are youth, women, and indigenous community.
So they are the major actor to revive back what we have, what we lost. And then if you look back into the indigenous wisdom, so let's take Minang. Minang, they have a wisdom what they call as alam takambang jadi guru. Learning from the nature. Nature is your teacher.
Nature is your teacher,
So every issues that you are talking right now, when you talk about agroforestry, we have Kebun Talun. When you talk about urban farming, we have Karangkitri. When you talk about edible flowers, we've been eating edible flowers, for centuries. For centuries. There is nothing new about the climate change issue, about the sustainability issue. It's been there, and they have the answer for it. So I agree with Helga. It's a matter of modernizing what we had, our heritage, to become more current, more hype, more sexy, getting the young.
Be relevant that it is what it is, right? Remembering everyone that this is part of our tradition and we should
I need to
celebrate
learn from
that.
Helga how to raise fund and sell the dream.
There you go, women supporting women. We're talking about local tradition, and what I understood is also Ewindo take pride in actually looking at local tradition and actually using that as part of your core ways of connecting with female entrepreneurs, female workers as well. Can you maybe tell us a little bit how Ewindo integrates local traditions and norms into your supply chain as well?
Okay. Ewindo truly respect the prevailing norms and traditions. We realize that every tradition or local norms is maybe different in every area.
Yeah.
Like what we treat to our production farmers in East Java, we provide them all as the natural predator, part of our CSR program, to cope threats attack.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different if compared to Banten.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it comes to the commercial farmers, they need to be treated differently also.
Okay.
Yeah. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we just launched our new sweet corn in Lampung.
Yeah.
And we perform local dance as the symbol of appreciation for our farmers.
I see.
That's the
so
tradition.
It's a tribute to the farmers.
Yes, tribute to farmers. Yeah, probably only 2 examples.
In terms of actually how the farmers embrace their own sort of ways of becoming a farmer, is there any particular stories of technique that they've used that you think is an integral part of Ewindo practice?
Okay, before we adopt the so many application about the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is the tradition of the farmers. They mention or they said that in the drought season, if there are rainy for 2 days, and then it means that the best time to plant.
Okay. So
That's the local norm. Yeah.
and I just came back from Gorontalo. They said Pangoba is the way. It's learning from nature, essentially, looking at the signals from nature. That's wonderful to actually understand that type of practice is also still being embraced in Ewindo. I want to maybe move to Rainforest Alliance as well and let Mbak Nina tell another story in terms of treating sustainability, Mbak. And we're still in the to the current situation. And in your experience, how do you talk about sustainability right now with the farmer groups, with the village leaders?
Well, I guess it's part of the Rainforest Alliance key priorities to actually harness the social power, and that's also how communities have been producing the local wisdom, and then the way that they connect to the nature, the way the farmers connect to the nature, and also market power.
Yeah.
So we try to connect this. We try to see and try to basically highlight the importance of those that are at the downstream of the value chain to actually support all the good practices that have been done in the upstream, basically. Because as you have heard before, and these are so inspiring stories, and this is very true, the way that the local communities, especially, if we talk about cash crops, we talk about the crops that are actually making money, that actually, communities can sell, and can assist families and farm, and then they can keeping families out of poverty, putting kids to school, and preventing child marriage, especially.
Yeah.
These cash crops is very much linked to how the market demands it, and the way that it goes. How market really wants something that is mass, something that is affordable, and then they keep coming back for more. But as we move on to a more sustainable world, as more of our young people, and we are more woke basically towards sustainability, we try to build the narratives around the local wisdom that have already been there, planted, and then try to basically assist the communities also, work with them. They tell us basically what needs to change in order for the community to be more sustainable, and then we try to build that enabling environment basically, and get the upstream actors, the members of Rainforest Alliance, basically those who are actually obliging the standard, to be more involved in trying to harness, trying to make things happening in the field that are really empowering for the community, so that they can actually contribute more to their society and also to the environment. So talk about sustainability, it goes both ways.
Both ways. Great. And yeah, it's sort of stuck in my head now, your follow the frog movement as
The
well.
froggy.
Follow the froggy. Now, Bu, Linda, you mentioned a little bit about consumers and the way that female decision makers are actually demanding sustainable product. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that? They actually start investing more on entrepreneurs that's producing sustainable product?
Well, yeah, I trust actually emotional branding is always touching consumer heart. So I would say that any effort to facilitate or to support women empowerment will be acknowledged. Company should start to do it. Because it will only beneficial the company, because they can fulfill the needs that now is growing. So I mean, wait. So what we need to do, so what we are currently doing, that our program on empowering women is continuously done, and we assure that this is well represented in all of our communications, and also it's we have to promote, inspire, and then follow the initiative.
Thank you so much. On emotional branding, is Brewer Greens using emotional branding as well, Helga?
Was intentional.
Yeah.
Let me think of it. Yeah, I think Brewer Greens is kind of positioned itself as a like plant-based eatery that has a farm-to-table concept.
Yeah.
So maybe this fact that we, share about how we source our ingredients and how eating plant-based is healthy for you and the planet. Would that be a part of an emotional branding?
I think
I'm not
so.
sure.
I'm emotionally touched.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it wasn't intentional, but I
Right.
think because that was the
Your target market, essentially, is it targeted to women, or is it, more broad for Indonesian?
Initially we didn't really target women, but what happened after we analyzed our consumers,
Yeah.
70% of I can't say that male doesn't have nurturing quality. Like,
Yeah.
my husband does, my
Mine
best
too,
friend,
mine too.
right? So, but most of the women
Yeah.
have more nurturing quality, and that's why they care more about healthy and sustainable food.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's more like nurturing and wanting to sort of provide the best for
the family.
the family. Yeah.
And I think doing something that is eco-friendly. I actually just went on a TED Talk,
Yeah.
and this guy called Daniel talked about the psychology of climate change.
yes.
Why men care less about climate
Change, yes.
And so, yeah, caring about environment is seen as a feminine quality.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Thank you so much, ladies, for all of the wonderful notes. And actually, I will call to action. So we want to change that, right? So one call to action, which is your closing statement, should be, if there's one thing you want from the participants who is following in the YouTube, you want them to do from listening to all these inspiring stories, what would it be? Ibu Ardi, maybe...
I'd like to say that this discussion this afternoon has whet my appetite. I would love to spend an evening with these ladies, enjoying a vegetarian meal here at my place, and to discuss a little bit more in-depth some of the statements that have been made. Second thing that I would like to say before I get to my one thing is that I think in different ways what we've all been trying to say, it's important to acknowledge and to make the role of women in agriculture more visible, but obviously we can't do it without men.
That's
we
true.
complement. So it's something that we have to do together. Then coming to the one thing, for For me, it would be that the people who are watching this talk show this afternoon, the next time that you have food on your plate, realize or try to realize where it's come from, how it has been produced, what impact you eating this food might have in terms of the income for the farmer, the planetary impact, environmental impact. One thing that I took up during this pandemic is trying to grow a little bit of food here in my own garden.
Yay.
I think it's important producing it.
Thank you so much. Mindful eating, that's your first call to action, guys. Bu Heli, you want to continue with your one call to action for all of the participants?
It's hard, isn't it, one? So, but anyway, I believe that everybody can start to take an action in their own ways.
Yeah.
If you're a farmers, reclaim back the heritage food biodiversity and the indigenous wisdom, because it so much makes sense with the current trend.
Reclaim.
It's not outdated. It's so futuristic.
It's cool, guys.
Yeah.
Reclaim, reclaim.
If you're a consumers, be mindful.
I see.
Because basically it's like a politics. You can use your political rights. Whatever you buy, whatever you eat will decide the whole value chain, supply chain.
Very true. Thank you, Maheli. Manina?
I could not top that. That it's exactly what I would say to the audience at home.
Too
but
bad.
I just like to add.
Yes.
I just like to add. Some of the farmers that we work with actually live in the fringe of society. A lot of them live within or surrounding forests, and they're so far away from the cities. And just knowing that they're out there, that they could actually do something to protect our forests, to protect our water bodies, our soil. And I would encourage everybody at home, also the young people, do your climate thing, and just take part to know who your farmers are, what they're doing at the moment, and how to give more incentive to all these good actions that they have been doing there, exactly where our forests are.
Yay, incentivize the good effort on the ground. Thank you.
Yes.
Ibu Yuflinda, one thing that we should go all buy the sustainable product.
Okay, sure. So I think today the voice of women is globally acknowledged and also heard.
Yeah.
So woman is no longer seen as only a homemaker, but instead a valuable partner for sustainable consumption and production. So I wish everyone, every woman seeing this YouTube and also in the world is becoming a very conscious and also smart shopper anywhere, anytime.
Smart shopper, anytime, anywhere. Thank you. Ibu Sylvia, your one call to action.
New normal era like now, women are required to be more talented, to be more multitasking. That's why we need to help each other, support each other. And I need you all to teach your children on how important agriculture for food sustainability.
Generational wisdom. Helga, your call to action.
Okay, I have an unpopular opinion about entrepreneurship. So, in my personal view, we don't need more successful people, but we need good people succeeding in bringing balance to an overly money-driven society that puts in for like the audience who are thinking to start a business or deciding a career change or starting to look for job opportunities. Be sure that you are part of something that actually puts financial growth alongside planetary health.
Nice. And you can actually repost her post on that quote on Instagram. With that note, thank you so much for all of the panelists and all of the inspiration, hopefully personal stories that you cannot find elsewhere. The recording of this session will be available in the YouTube channel of the Netherlands Embassy, Kedutaan Besar Belanda untuk Indonesia. So you can maybe watch again, something to also think about before you fall asleep tonight. Who knows, you might wake up session with poem. Well, I don't know, it's pantun. I don't know what's the English for pantun, yeah. But it's poem, right?
Rhyming poem.
Rhyming poem, anyway. But the word that I chose today is power. So the P stands for positive trends are happening in terms of balancing gender in Indonesia. The O stands for operationalizing it takes time, effort, and energy. It has to be done together, not individually. The W stands for women are assets for sustainable agriculture in Indonesia. If we don't listen to them, we lose opportunities. The E stands for empowering, means walking away from generalizing, but taking into account culture and think about it from merit perspective. And the R stands for relevance, is the key to maintain and uphold women power in developing sustainable agriculture for Indonesia. My name is Gita Syahrani. I thank you so much for your attention and give a round of applause for this panelist. And Ibu Ardi would like to present the panel with a special gift celebrating the powerful women in the panel and hopefully, so first, yeah? Okay, no worries. The camera will follow you. So Ibu Flinda.
Tulips as a token of our appreciation for your participation in what I've been while we're having a meal, maybe sometime in the new year. I have flowers for every participant to appreciate their efforts.
I'll hold the mic for you. And then we have Ibu Siska representing Ewindo as well, some tulips, and Ibu Helga. Thank you. Oh, wow, I got one too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you again. We'll have a cooking demo after this, celebrating plant-based diet that is actually part of Indonesia's traditional norms. Enjoy. Yay, thank you, everyone. That was awesome.
Cek.
Hello, welcome back to the other portion, the delicious portion of the afternoon. And we're having live cooking demo with Ibu Ardi and Chef Helen. Jadi kita akan masak-memasak bersama-sama dipandu oleh Chef Helen. Ada apa aja nih Bu yang nanti akan dimasak oleh Ibu?
Ya, ini ada 3 menu. Ya, pertama kita akan masak sate, kita akan masak salad, dan kita akan buat jus. Ya.
Okay, so there's sate and there's salad and also there's juice. As you can see, there's ini produk-produknya dari yang vegan plant-based ya Bu ya? Siap. So, is this your favorite food, Ibu Ardi? Sate, salad, and some healthy juice. Looks like a good meal.
Is it working?
Yeah,
yes,
it's working.
It definitely looks like something that I would love to eat.
Yes. So kita akan masakin Ibu Ardi nih ya. Silahkan Bu, talk us through the process. Ibu mau siap-siap, silahkan, boleh.
Ya, pertama saya akan memasak sate dulu ya. Karena sate ini semua orang suka dan kebetulan sore ini saya akan memasak sate dari Purwakarta.
Oh, sate Purwakarta. Apa namanya satenya?
Marangi. Itu terkenal sekali ya.
Yeah, so the sate is from Purwakarta. It's sate Marangi. So one of the signature of West Java, Purwakarta, and it's definitely delicious. One of my favorite type of sate. Gimana Bu caranya bikin Marangi?
Kalau sate biasa kan kita pakai daging semuanya ibu-ibu, tapi sore ini kita pakai satu bahan yang bersahabat tentunya buat kita, yaitu untuk yang bersahabat vegetarian dan tentu ibu dengan vegetarian, dan
khusus
kita akan
Ibu Ardi
memakai satu produk dari Green Rebel. Ini
sate tapi dari tumbuhan ya Bu ya.
Iya.
Jadi beefless chunks, so especially for sate, you guys, and Ibu Ardi can definitely enjoy this plant-based sate. Siap. Dari situ diapain nih Bu?
Nanti kita akan buat, sebentar saya akan buka dulu.
Ini kayak saya juga nyetok teman-teman di rumah.
Iya.
Siap, silakan. Wow, besar-besar juga ya chunk dagingnya ya.
Iya, besar-besar.
Oh, she's opening.
Berasa, tapi ini yang plain, jadi yang tidak, supaya kita bisa tambah dengan bumbunya.
Baik, so use the plain one, and from that chunk, can we guess how many sate would that produce?
Oke, sebentar ya.
Oke. Ibu Ardi, you want to observe the meat closer? Go ahead.
Iya, ini.
It has the appearance of meat, but I'm very happy to know that it's not meat.
Jadi mirip ya, mirip daging ya Bu ya.
Jangan dilihat mentahnya, nanti kita akan lihat masaknya. Untuk sate Marangi ini ada bumbu yang akan kita pakai. Pertama ini ada ketumbar, ini ciri khas sate Marangi ini ketumbarnya. Jadi waktu ketumbarnya banyak itu akan enak sekali rasanya. Ada ketumbar, ada asam jawa, airnya, ada gula merah, ada lengkuas,
red sugar,
bawang
yeah,
putih, bawang merah,
shallot and
kecap,
garlic, and also
dan
soy sauce.
merica dan beberapa penyedapnya.
Oke.
Ya. Oke,
Ya.
kita akan.
I just wanted to say I do understand why food to shape it or to make it look like meat, because
yes.
then it's easier for them, and then they very often are surprised that it's actually very tasty, and so yeah, I think it helps to get more for me.
That's
People
true.
become familiar with a plant-based diet.
Jadi, so I have that experience actually with my husband. It's not meat.
Okay.
I fooled my children in the past as well in
So
that
we did the
way.
same thing.
As
Okay.
long as it's tasty, they're happy.
It's true, as long as it's delicious and they're happy. Silakan Bu,
Oke,
abis
kita mulai ya.
Ya, silakan.
Oke.
So, going to start cooking. Definitely much more professional if I'm cooking. So, normally Bu Ardi.
Kita pakai minyak,
ya.
kita siapkan minyak.
So first the oil. Is it on?
Sebentar ya.
Okay, we're going to try to. No?
Iya,
Oh yeah.
biar di.
Okay. Oke. Iya. Tapi gasnya harus dirilis dulu. Okay, so while they're fixing the stove, kita ngobrol-ngobrol dulu ya sama
Iya.
Ibu Helen ya. Jadi baru pertama kali atau sudah pernah Bu masak yang kayak daging tapi bukan daging?
Sejujurnya ini baru pertama.
Oh wow.
Iya.
So it's the first time for
Baru
her also
pertama
cooking.
yang daging yang bukan daging.
Iya,
Ya.
looks like a
Iya.
meat but not a meat. Yes, the first time. Jadi
Iya.
waktu pertama kali lihat Ibu gimana reaksinya Bu? How did you react?
Iya.
Pas pertama kali lihat kayak oh
Iya,
nggak percaya
heran.
tuh.
Heran. Nah, tapi ternyata waktu dicoba enak juga.
Oh
Ya,
pas dicoba
oke,
enak
ya,
juga.
enak juga.
Oke.
Ya,
First impressionnya bagus ya
Karena
berarti
yang
ya.
paling penting sehatnya kan ya.
Oh,
Iya,
nah
paling
itu
penting
dia.
Sehatnya.
Jadi kayak oke sehat buat bumi, tapi kok kayaknya jauh banget ya, tapi sehat buat diri
Iya,
sendiri ya.
iya.
So, yes, it's healthy for the planet, but most importantly also healthy for yourself. So it's like a health benefit also outweigh as well. Okay, the stove is on. We're about
Sebentar,
to
tunggu panas dulu.
cook.
Oke.
And maybe to just emphasize the tasty aspect, because I remember when I first became a vegetarian long time ago, vegetarian food was not necessarily
A bit boring,
so nice,
bland.
and cardboard-like soy pellets, whatever. And I think we've moved on, and we're now producing
Yeah.
great vegetarian
That's
foods,
true.
and it's great that it's so readily available
Yeah.
more and more in
Yeah.
supermarkets.
Yeah.
Ya.
This is very accessible as well. Love that we
Kita
can just
akan
order
masukkan
it in.
dulu bawang merah, bawang putihnya.
Oke,
Oke, tapi
bawang
ini
merah,
belum
bawang
panas.
putih pertama. Enak juga ya, ini masak-masak di outdoor gini. Bu Ardi, if you wanna also participate in the cooking stuff, I won't because I turn to burn stuff, but you can.
I will also leave it to the experts.
But so,
Yeah.
but you've experienced the time when vegetarian food doesn't taste so good, yeah. And how did you cope at that time?
I guess at that time I was young and a bit ideological, so it was more important to be a vegetarian than to eat nice food. But
And
I've
you're like,
moved
"It's
on,
okay."
And now I also want food to taste
Good.
nice. So, yeah, no. All jokes aside, also at that time it was perfectly possible to eat tasty vegetable available in supermarkets rather than in specialty stores,
Yeah.
which increases the threshold for
Yeah.
people to buy this type of food.
Yeah, I think affordability is
Ya,
very
berikutnya
important,
saya
right?
masukin
Silakan.
ketumbarnya. Ya.
Ini bahan-bahannya bisa maksudnya bahan yang dipakai semua bisa dibeli di warung,
Oh,
di
iya.
minimarket kan ya. Jadi
Sangat mudah.
masak-masak yang vegetarian gak harus mahal teman-teman
Iya.
gitu ya. Semua bisa beli bahannya di warung,
bahan
ini bisa
lengkuasnya kita
order.
masukin.
Kayak
Ya.
lengkuas.
Lengkuas. Oke.
The
Oke. Sebentar ini ada.
I was asking to Bu Helen whether we can buy all of the ingredients in
Ada
the local warung, so
ladanya.
it is accessible for people to cook also this
Ya.
type of food.
Oke. Merah.
It's
Okay.
palm sugar.
Iya.
Palm sugar.
Mau
Yeah.
coba.
Bu, you wanna Also, yes,
I'm not
be the
sure whether that-
sous chef.
Oke.
Become the sous chef of sate Marangi that is not meat, but looks like meat, tastes like meat, is delicious like meat.
Ya, Ibu, saya masukin asam jawanya.
Tamarind.
Tamarind, yes, asam Jawa.
Oke.
So we were talking about food diversity in Indonesia, right? All of these different herbs and spices.
Iya.
This is Indonesia's treasure. Ini kayak rempah-rempah tuh
Iya.
benar-benar kekayaannya Indonesia nih Bu. Tadi kita
penyedap
ngobrolin.
jamurnya,
Apa itu Bu?
penyedap jamur.
Oh,
Kaldu
jamur.
jamur.
Oke, mushroom.
Ya.
Mushroom.
Oke.
Nice. And then we put the
Mulai
meat in.
kita masukkan.
Oke,
Do we
siap.
have talent?
Berbakat nggak Ibu Ardi? Bu Helen, cukup boleh jadi
Sangat,
asisten?
sangat,
Coba,
iya.
oh ya, cocok ya, bisa.
Saya masukin Ibu.
Yes, you
Iya.
can be her assistant, she said.
Yeah.
Talented enough.
Enough.
Enak. Iya.
It's not
need
iya.
some practice, I
It's
guess.
boleh lah, boleh like that. It's can lah. Okay.
Okay, I'll leave it in the expert hands of Ibu Helen.
Okay, so now that we stir all of the sauce,
Saya masukin air putih
and now we
ya,
have the meat, and
sedikit.
then add some water. Now the aroma, getting hungry
Smells
ya.
good,
What
yeah.
time is it? It's too early for dinner ya.
Dan terakhir saya masukin kecap.
The soy
Nah, ini dia
sauce.
nih.
So with sate Marangi, you cook the whole meat ya, ya Pak, dagingnya dimasak seluruhannya ya,
Iya.
sama bumbu ya.
Sama bumbu.
So for sate
Ya.
Marangi, instead of making a sauce separately, you actually cook the meat with the sauce. So without any sauce, it already tastes good.
Yep.
Kita masak sampai kering, ya, ibu-ibu semua. Oke.
So until dry, and it absorb all of the sauces, she said. Ya Bu.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
Yes, I'm like leaning towards the stove.
Oke. Ini kalau ditunggu kan pasti lama.
Yeah, so it takes a
jadi-
while for it to actually get cooked,
Nanti
and
jadinya
we
seperti
are a bit
ini.
hungry, so she prepped.
This is ready.
Ya,
Yes,
ready.
magically.
Iya. Mungkin.
Okay, so
Udah
you wanna,
ya?
should we
Oke.
try? Yes, we try the finished product, Ibu.
Okay, now
Oke. Yang ini.
Oh, yang mana?
Iya.
Oh, okay.
how do I do this in a sophisticated way or in an elegant way rather?
So do it from the side. That's my only
But
tip.
then something.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want it to taste like it. I just want it to taste good,
true.
and it does taste
Tastes
good.
delicious. That's the important. Good response, Bu. It doesn't have to be like meat as long as it's good. Okay. Yes. So now that you are, this is the first time eating Marangi ya, I think for Ibu.
Iya.
Go ahead. Maybe we take some water also. Butuh minum.
Oke.
It also has a
Alright.
good texture. The mouth feel, as the foodies would say,
Yeah.
I think is good.
The texture. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, now that the sate is done, sekarang kita ngapain nih Bu?
Oke, yang kedua kita
Sate,
akan
oke, second
masak
dish.
Salad.
Salad.
Salad
Okay.
dari bahan
Oh, grilled chicken.
Yeah.
Jadi, so it's chicken, not really chicken, but looks like one, tastes like one, I think. Jadi saladnya pakai ayam, tapi ayam yang
dari-
pemberontak
ya.
gitu, Green Rebel.
Iya.
Jadi sebenarnya bukan ayam. Oke, kita akan masuk langgar with flying
Enak
colors.
sekali.
Thank you Helga for providing us with the raw materials. Yes.
Oke, yang kedua kita akan masak salad. Ini daging ayamnya.
Ya.
Nah, kita akan marinasi dengan saus tiram, ya. Oke.
Siap. So, nah, jadi dari semuanya bukan cuma proteinnya yang kita perhatikan harus sustainable, tapi juga barang-barangnya. Makanya tadi teman-teman Superindo bilang, Bu Yuflinda bilang, pilih barang yang sustainable juga gitu ya. Cari yang ramah lingkungan, ramah sosial juga.
Yeah.
So, not only the meat, the protein,
Yeah.
but the rest of the ingredients you opt for the
Kemudian ini sederhana aja kok, bumbunya nggak macem-macem.
Kayaknya saya juga bisa ini ya,
Iya,
secara yang nggak bisa
gampang.
masak ini kayaknya mampu saya.
Iya.
I mean like I'm not a
Yeah.
good cook, right? And she's saying that it's so easy that maybe I can do it.
Gampang kok Ibu, nggak
Gampang
susah.
ya,
Iya.
it's not difficult.
Ini
Anybody
ada
can
gula
cook.
sedikit, ini
So
ada
sugar,
garam, ya.
salt,
Oke.
and ini ya,
Lada.
apa merica ya?
Merica,
Yeah,
lada.
the pepper. Yes.
Cuman kita aduk aja begini.
Diaduk. Okay, just
Ya.
mix it around.
Ya.
Make sure that it gets covered. And we're going to also goreng Bu ini, or not?
Enggak, dipanggang.
Oh, this one is
ya,
not fried. We're going to grill it.
Ya.
So it's grilled chicken salad.
Ya. Oke.
Okay, so now we're
Ini
going to.
makanannya sehat,
Yes.
yang pasti. Ya. Karena ini sebenarnya ditunggunya hampir 1-2 jam supaya meresap.
Oh, marinate ya. Jadi nanti kalau cobain di rumah teman-teman, ini kalau udah diaduk
Ya,
ditunggu
1-2
1-2 jam. So 1
untuk
to 2
cepatnya.
hours marinate.
Setelah itu kita akan bakar di happy coal.
Ya.
Ya. Seperti ini.
Alright. The trusty grill one.
Ini apinya, tapi nggak apa-apa, karena kita akan nunggu terlalu lama nantinya.
Jadi ceritanya aja ya Bu, ceritanya aja.
Cepet aja. Iya. Nah,
So once you
inilah
magically
magic.
it is ready.
Ini saladnya dari
Oke, jadi ini inspirasi menu ya.
Iya.
Kalau teman-teman lihat si ayam, biasanya kepikirannya oh bikin semur, bikin apa, tapi ternyata bikin salad,
Bikin
grilled
salad.
chicken juga bisa.
supaya nggak bosan.
Supaya nggak bosan, benar.
Yeah.
So if you look at chicken, it's not only for
Yeah.
stew or traditional way of cooking
Dan bisa dibawa
chicken.
kemana-mana.
Yeah, you can also eat make a salad, and then you can
Yeah.
also bekal ya, dipakai bekal
Bekal,
ya.
yeah.
You can take it to go and actually arrange it in your picnic of some
Makan
sort.
segini aja udah kenyang.
Okay,
Iya.
it's enough to
Silakan.
fill
Yeah.
one family. She
Yeah.
said it's full. Okay, you want to try the chicken one, Ibu? Go ahead. Yes. Alright, sekarang dari ayam. Yes, again, pass with flying colors again. So the beef, pass, chicken, pass also. Great. Great looking salad. It's like avocado ya.
Avocado,
Alpukat,
yeah,
avocado,
alpukat.
and then some
Ada
spring
tomat,
onion, right? Oh,
yeah.
not spring onion.
Selada sobek
and then the
katanya.
tomato
Yeah.
and salada. It's like a bit of a Mexican
Yeah.
vibe to the salad. Okay. Okay. One more piece for the road. Yes, with the onion. Nice. Alright, terima kasih Ibu Helen.
Yeah.
Tepuk tangan sudah jadi 2 masakan. Yay.
Cepet ya.
Cepet ya, magically appear. And now
Yeah.
the drink. Yeah, you wanna
Yeah.
make another drink or?
Yeah.
Can you explain Ibu boleh dijelasin
Yang
dikit soal
ketiga,
minumannya? So
ya,
there's
ini jus sehat.
Oh, jus
ya.
sehat, healthy
Kalau
juice.
kalau dibilang jus sehat berarti siap dengan segala macam bahan sayuran.
Ya.
Ya, di sini ada seledri.
Oh, this is for the drink. Okay.
Seledri.
Celery.
Ada selada.
This
Ada timun.
salad, cucumber. Yep.
Ini kalau nggak salah
That's, kale
kale
ya?
Dan
Kale.
ini apel.
And apple.
Serta jeruk nipis.
This one? Oh, lime
Ya.
juice. Okay.
Ya,
I
supaya
can make
rasanya
that.
segar. Ya.
Okay,
Ini
so
semuanya
all
bumbunya
blend.
dimasuk.
No
bahannya
sugar, no need
dimasukkan,
sugar.
di mixer, di
Pakai-
blender.
Di blender,
di
ha?
blender.
Pakai
Dan-
gula nggak Bu?
Nggak,
Nggak usah
misalnya
pakai
nggak
gula.
usah ya.
Oke,
Biar
no need
sehat.
sugar, nggak usah
Iya.
pakai gula ya, Ibu Bapak,
Iya.
teman-teman.
Nggak usah pakai gula
So
supaya
now
sehat.
the beef okay, the chicken okay, now the
Ya,
drink ya,
Sekali
we try.
lagi saya sulap, udah jadi.
Magically
Ya.
appear,
Oke.
yay!
Ya.
Ibu Helen berbakat banget ya, tiba-tiba
Iya.
habis jelasin terus jadi
Ya,
aja.
ahli masak yang sulap ya. Oke.
Oke,
Ya,
siap.
Karena
Oke.
ini bahan sayuran jadi bentuknya seperti ini.
Oke, try, Ibu. Taste healthy. Taste very healthy.
Yang dipikirin pokoknya sehatnya.
Iya. Thank you, Ibu Helen,
Oke,
for all of
terima
the
kasih,
drinks.
Ya.
Maybe all of the panelists that's still here, tadi kita akan panggil ya ibu-ibu yang tadi ada di panel. Mereka sudah makan di belakang, tapi kita suruh cobain jus.
Iya.
Silakan ibu-ibu, dibawa piringnya, Bumba Helga. Silakan Ibu Yuflinda, kita makan bersama. Siap. Oke, Mbak Nina juga. Yay. With all of the food that's magically
Mungkin saya bagiannya bisa
So
sulap,
it's
ya.
people that can cook. There's a lot of them, Ibu Ardi, but those who can cook and do magic is only Ibu Helen. Only Ibu Helen. Okay, maybe we can say cheers. Cheers with the food and the drinks. Selamat menikmati teman-teman yang ada di YouTube. Mungkin kita bisa mentransportasi baunya, aromanya gitu ya, rasanya pokoknya enak. Di mana Bu Helga?
Sekarang ada di Tokopedia, Green Rebel, semua Bergreen Stores dan di supermarket terdekat Anda.
Siap. Bisa juga online ya seperti
Bisa
saya.
Online, bisa online.
Siap, terima kasih Mbak Helga. Nah, tadi kan soal protein ya. Kalau Bu Helen tadi bilang semua bahan-bahannya juga bisa pilih yang sustainable. Siap. Ibu Yuflinda boleh dijelasin dong di sini bahan-bahan yang sustainable untuk melengkapi protein. Saya pegangin gelasnya, silahkan. Mungkin tadi kan proteinnya kata Helga bisa dibeli di mana aja. Kalau yang pelengkap-pelengkapnya gimana nih?
Ya, kalau di Superindo tadi yang saya bilang udah banyak produk yang on brand produk Superindo yang sudah eco label seperti salah satu yang barusan saja di launch, ini developmentnya lumayan panjang sampai 3 tahun, yes.
So proud.
Itu udah RSPO certified, terus kita punya
Di cooking oil ya, this is coffee.
Ya, coffee yang udah RA certified dan satu lagi ini juga yang baru banget, itu cage free eggs. Jadi it's a very specific type of chicken eggs yang sekarang udah available di all of our stores.
Siap. Oke, siap kalau gitu. Terima kasih banyak semuanya. So semuanya bisa